conserve natural resources while being a happier, healthier person? Well, certainly I do, and I have an idea, a proposal, a tip kind of for you to maybe consider incorporating into your lives that would help you do that. It's a little bit on the personal side, so is that okay if I go there? All right.
Couldn't
good.
stop you.
All right, so I'm going to guess that most of you take a shower every day. All right. And probably most of you are turning that hot water up about as far as you can take it because that's how you like it. You want that nice, relaxing, warm shower every morning. But it turns out, and that's the thing that I want to talk to you about, it's not so good for you, it turns out. It's actually better to take a cooler shower. And so I'm going to talk to you about some of the reasons why and approach to modify that behavior that's going to make it easier. Because I know what you're thinking. You think cold shower, and you're like, no, I'm not going there. No way. Don't even just stop right there is what you're thinking. But hear me out, okay? All right, so first of all, why am I talking about this? Where in the heck did I get this idea for this topic, right? Well, I like to run. I run a lot, sometimes as much as 15 miles a week in 3 to 5 mile stints out in the heat here in Florida. Sometimes that takes about an hour, maybe longer. And when you run for that long and you come back inside an air-conditioned building, you sweat. You sweat like a pig. And sometimes this goes on for as much as 30 minutes. And you know, if it's in the morning and you have to get ready for work, you just can't have that, right? You need some way to deal with that. So I talked to my other friends that run and said, you know, what do you do? How can you put up with that? And they suggested a cold shower. And you know what? Turns out it works. It shuts it right off. So you can go about your day, get going. So, but the thing is, after I started doing that, because for me too, it was like, you know, they suggested, I'm like, no way, I'm not doing that. But I gave it a shot just out of desperation because nobody wants to be sweating for that long, obviously, right? So, after a time, I realized, you know what? There's some other benefits apparently, because I started feeling like I was recovering quicker from the run. The joints and the muscles weren't as sore. And in general, I just felt like I had more energy, like I was more ready for the day. You know, and I didn't know, okay, is it the cold shower or not? So I did a little research and found out that, yes, other people have felt this benefit as well. And there's other benefits I'll get into too. But first, let's talk about the technique. So I was telling you that I wouldn't go and ask you to do this without offering a way to make it easier for you. Because yeah, nobody, even just sitting here hearing or thinking about the idea of taking a cold shower, it's probably making your muscles tense up right now, I'm guessing, just the thought of it, right? But there's a way. Probably most of you have heard of the boiling frog metaphor. Mm-hmm. Everyone probably. You know, the idea that you stay in a given situation and it gets worse and worse and you don't notice it. Maybe it's a job situation or whatever it is. And over time, it gets so bad that you feel like you're being boiled, but you know, it's just the pressure or whatever builds up slowly and you don't notice. The idea is you put a frog in a pan, you put it on the stove, and they're cold-blooded animals. You turn it up slowly, and they don't notice, and the frog ends up boiling. How you get a frog to stay in a pan in the first place, I don't know. So I don't believe that that's true. But at the same time, this, as I call it, reverse boiling frog technique for taking a cold shower, it works. So basically, instead of turning the temperature up, you're turning it down slowly. And like the frog, you don't notice. And you're able to stay in there and be comfortable. You've probably all experienced it in the swimming pool. The water's cold. When you first get in, you got that tensed up feeling. You don't want to go in any deeper, but you do it. And once you do it, you're fine. And in fact, once you get out of the pool, it feels colder outside of the pool than in the pool, right? Mm-hmm. So there you go. All right, so now you know how to go about doing it without getting that tensed up burr kind of feeling. Let's talk some more about the benefits. From what I gather, and some of these things are things I worry about and some that I don't, you know, like your skin. You're taking a hot shower, you're basically boiling yourself. Some of you, you know, it's kind of an addictive thing, like spicy food, you know, that's kind of addictive. And the more you eat, the more you want it. Same thing with hot showers. You keep turning it up. You're boiling yourself like a frog, and it dries out your skin. The pores are closed, are open because of the heat, and the germs and the soap scum get in there, and you end up with acne. I'm sure it's happened to all of you. Some of you brush your hair, and the hair is falling out on the brush. Same thing with the cuticles in your head. They open up with the warm water, the soap scum gets in there, destroys the hair at the root. So check the brush, if it's coming out, there's your problem, right? Some other benefits. And I talked about balancing natural resource use with being happier and healthier. Well, you're going to use less energy, obviously, right? Maybe as much as somewhere between $50 and $150 over a year. Savings. You won't have to clip as many coupons. You're probably going to use less water because you're unlikely to spend as much time in the shower. And this part of the speech is dedicated to my daughter. So, lots and lots of benefits, and I'm giving you this technique for how to do it without suffering the pain. And I know everyone here wants to do. You wouldn't be in Toastmasters if you weren't trying to improve yourself. If you weren't trying to be a good citizen. So I just have this feeling that you're all going to go out there and you're going to try that reverse boiling frog technique. You're going to do the right thing for the environment. You're going to do the right thing for your health, and you're going to turn that water down in the shower. Thank you.